Imagine you have a baby girl, and you have all these hopes and dreams that you have for your child's future. But as time goes on, you start to realize that your child is starting to develop differently and that they're hitting milestones later. And then all of those hopes and dreams that you had start to fade away. That's what happened to my parents when I was born. And before I start getting into my speech, I want to start off with a little bit of humor. And in a way I was different was that I used to one day hold my bottle with my feet instead of my hands. I don't know why, but I just thought, oh, hey, why not? I have feet. Let's see how this goes. But in all seriousness, I was diagnosed with PDD-NOS, or pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified, which is on the autism spectrum. I was also diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder and obsessive compulsive disorder. And with those diagnoses came with some challenges. And the challenges that I faced was I was also diagnosed with sensory integration disorder. And that is your body in space. And that affected my vestibular sense. And that affected a lot of my movement. And so for a while, I couldn't ride in the car, I couldn't leave the house, I couldn't swing on a swing. And other challenges that I faced were with my hearing. I couldn't handle buzzers at basketball games. I couldn't handle fire alarms, etc. And some other challenges I also faced would be touch. I couldn't have anyone else touch me except for my parents. And all of this was a bunch of struggles. I would often eat the same foods all the time as well. Another thing, a big major thing, as I was growing up, I also had issues with bright lights. So I couldn't take pictures as a child because the flash on the camera would often make me want to close my eyes. It made me want to cover my face. I couldn't handle the flash. And that was hard on my parents because they wanted to have pictures of their kids when they were younger, and they couldn't really get a lot of that with me. And despite of all these challenges, I had some treatment and therapies as well. I had occupational therapy, or OT, and so what they did was they desensitized my senses. So it was kind of like exposure therapy. So they would put me on a swing and made me move. So that way I could desensitize the senses, so that way I could be able to go on car rides, and I could swing on a swing again like a normal child, or a neurotypical child. And that wasn't the only therapy that really worked for me. Another therapy was speech therapy. And as I was growing up, I had repetitive, meaningless speech. And my mom told me a story, and she said that one day she would pick me up from school, and she would say, or ask me, "Hey Bree, how was school?" And I wouldn't answer her. And so she would cry, thinking that we would never have a conversation. So with speech therapy, it really helped me gain those skills to be able to come up with full sentences. I've also had a psychiatrist, psychologist, and recently I started cognitive behavioral therapy, which is changing negative thought patterns and behaviors. And it was really after all of those therapies that I began to improve and I could be able to take pictures. So that was a really big moment in my life. And as you see in this one photo of me on the swing was when it captured two things. I could swing and I could be able to take photos. And so it was two things in one. And it was just a really big moment, not just for me, but for my parents as well. As I was growing up, around 9 years old, my mom called me and she asked me about this organization called Special Olympics. She asked me if I wanted to try out for rhythmic gymnastics, and I thought, why not? Okay. So I did, and it was the best decision of my life. I made a lot of new friends, and I was in this inclusive environment that was able to accommodate my needs. So after I did rhythmic gymnastics for about 6 years, I eventually started going into softball, basketball, volleyball, artistic gymnastics, and powerlifting. And that's really made a huge difference, not only in my life, but for my parents, and especially for the other athletes and their families. And with becoming a Special Olympics athlete, I found out about a program that I can become a Special Olympics global messenger. And so what that means is I can go out and I can give speeches about what Special Olympics has done for me and my life and for my family. And it's really been a great learning experience for me to get me to learn new skills on how to public speak and to make a difference. And I've even taken it farther to go to middle school and junior high schools and elementary schools to talk about no bullying and to have acceptance. And if someone's sitting alone at the lunch table, to go and join them and to not judge others based on your own opinions. So this has been a very, very positive experience for me. And becoming a Special Olympics Global Messenger, I've also gone out and done fundraisers for Special Olympics, such as the Duck Derby or working with police officers for the Law Enforcement Torch Run. I've even done something called the Plane Pull, and I got to go with a group of people and we got to pull, I don't remember how many pounds an airplane is, but we got to pull the airplane. And of course it was in neutral, we're not that strong, even though I was But I've been volunteering with Special Olympics and being a part of Special Olympics, and that's truly changed my life. And being with Special Olympics has given me other opportunities. And it was the summer in 2015 that it was the Special Olympics World Games in Los Angeles. And what we did was I was invited to be a part of a unified song. And so with Unified, it's people with and without disabilities coming together. So I sang a song called Reach Up with the band OAR, singer Cody Simpson, and then a young woman with Down syndrome named Madison Tevlin. And it was with Special Olympics, and it was also with Coca-Cola as well. And we got to perform it at the opening ceremonies, and it aired live on ESPN. And that was a crazy ride. I never imagined, from going from a girl that couldn't talk to, being a part of a unified project and making a difference. Recently, along with Special Olympics as well, Special Olympics made a partnership with United Airlines. And so this summer is the 50th anniversary for Special Olympics. And they want to promote that partnership between the two companies. And so I was fortunate enough to become a spokesperson for the athletes and to work with the CEO of United Airlines and the chairman of Special Olympics. And we did a lot of press interviews and a lot of publicity. And it was amazing because I really want to make a difference and I want to help others, and to be able to be that spokesperson at the time for the athletes was a very, very awesome experience. And they even talked about having a sensitivity training for the United Airline employees to have a positive flying experience, not just for other people, but also for those with disabilities as well. And another story is when I was a sophomore in high school. I was going through a tough time, and they called it situational depression. And my best friend, who was highly involved in running, and I wasn't. I just want to make that clear, I was not involved in running. And she came up to me in the hallway and said, hey, why don't you try out for the track team? And I told her, I said, that's really funny, I have 10 to 12 minute miles, I don't run. And she's like, no, here, I'll bring you over to the coach. So I just said, okay, I'm a really easygoing person, at least I try to be, and I just went along with it. So I thought that the coach would sit me down and tell me what this all entailed. This is what the meets are going to look like, this is what practice is going to be like, but that didn't happen. I walked in, and he said, welcome to the team. And that was amazing, because I was so happy to be included in Special Olympics, but now being included in my school with other neurotypical students. And that really means a lot to me. And I started out in last place. I would lose the girls on road runs, and something clicked to me, and I said, you know, I want to get good at this. I actually kind of enjoy this sport. I want to be good. I want to try to win. And so I tried to keep up with the girls on road runs, and I kept trying and trying and trying until I stayed with them. I worked hard in workouts. And so eventually I got second to last place in races, and that motivated me even more, because I thought, well, I'm not last. And I just kept working hard, and so by my senior year, I cracked varsity. And it was one day that my coach, when I was in my senior year, he said, I want you to continue running, and I want you to check out Harper College. And so I thought, okay. And so the great thing about Harper was not only did they have a running program for cross country and track, but they also had this transition autism program, or Project TAP. And that was really helpful to me, because as I was super anxious going into college, not thinking I had the support, I was blown away. I went in, I got to take college level classes, and I had that support that I was worried about not having. And so I thank the leaders that created the program for giving me that support to help me be successful in college. And for Harper, I have done cross-country and track and field, and I mostly do the 5K and 10K events. I'm more long distance. And my team and I have made it to nationals every year. And it's been a very positive experience. I'm very happy I was a part of it. And I'm actually going to go to nationals soon in May, so I'm really excited. And then for my future is actually a really funny story. So I was walking down the hallway here at Harper, and I saw a school. And I went up to them and I said, I'm not sure where I want to go. I want to continue running. And they said, okay, well, we have something called recruitment forms. If you go online on our website, fill them out, and if the coach is interested, he'll get back to you. And I thought, that's pretty neat, okay. So I filled out one for their school, and I asked my coach, and I said, does every school have this? And he's like, oh, they should. So I went crazy. And I filled out about 25 recruitment forms for all over the country. And I heard back from about 12. And I visited a bunch of different schools, and I chose Tennessee Wesleyan. And so here at Harper, I'm studying human services, and so I hope when I go to Tennessee Wesleyan that I can go into social work and continue my running. So I accepted a scholarship to run there, and I'm hoping to go there in the fall, and I'm hoping things go well. So as you can see, that is a picture of me and my new coach holding the scholarship. And in closing, I really want to make a difference on a global scale, and I want to help others. And I'm hoping by sharing my story, I can do just that. And it's just so crazy to think this girl who didn't really have much of a future, struggled with her past, fought through it, and now has a future. I'm blown away, I'm excited, and it's not just me, but I thank the people who have helped me get here. And I'm hoping I can inspire others, just in general, but also for those who may have a child, or they themselves may be on the spectrum. And I'm hoping, again, that I can inspire others and I can help others by sharing my story. Thank you.